Hi, I'm Donna Fields and welcome to CLIL Scaffolding 6. It's a series of webinars designed to give you support for using scaffolding in your classroom. Today we're going to use scaffolding technique number 61. Scaffolding, we can say, is giving support when it's needed, I say giving a helping hand, and then removing that support when the student feels more confident. You can find these techniques in my book 101 Scaffolding Techniques for Language Teaching and Learning that's also been translated into Spanish. Today's objective is to show how easy it is to teach academic language or just basic vocabulary using scaffolding technique number 61. I'm going to give you examples for a primary and secondary lesson, but you can use it for adults and professional training anytime you think students need help moving into new information and learning. Scaffolding technique number 61 requires a sophisticated type of memorization. Rote memorization is one of the most ineffective means of learning. You forget it very soon after you learn it, and we want deep learning. The studies show that effort is a factor that needs to be consistent with personal motivation. So if students make their own learning visible, or if we help them make it visible, and then they participate in the learning games that they create, their motivation and learning rises exponentially. So this technique is very easy to prepare, very easy to participate in, and the learning is long-lasting. What do we do? Well, for instance, in a secondary nutrition class, there's a text that the students have to use. First, we have to highlight the academic language. Now, we're so used to most of it that we don't realize that a lot of these words are either new to our students or they've seen them in different contexts, and so they become confused immediately. So you see, I've taken the text and I've highlighted some of the academic words for myself, not for them. The first term you'll see is high school, and you may wonder why. European students will not be familiar with the word high school right off the bat. They're more used to secondary. However, if our students are going to be taking exams, like the TOEFL for instance, they need to be familiar with terms that will appear on the exam. I mention exams, I don't believe in them necessarily, but they're a reality, and we need to help our students be successful so they can move forward and maybe even change the system. So the first step in this activity, and it's a very simple activity, you take these academic words, put them in text blocks. Then you find images that represent these academic words and terms. They can be fun if you want them to be. I usually use 15 to 20 academic words or terms at a time, and then we give one set of them all to each pair of students. The pair of students put these words, maybe 6 at a time, in a line. One of them turns away, while the other one removes one of the cards. We can encourage them to mix them up a little bit so that it's a little more challenging. The first student turns back around, reads the words, describes the images, and then tries to remember which word was missing. If they don't remember the word, they can also just describe the image. And if you remember, the missing word was disease. Got it? Excellent. So now let's go to primary, and it's a social science class, and we need to teach transport. A lot of textbooks, we love giving surveys. This is a very easy one. They have to name the person that they're talking to, the places that person has traveled, what type of transport they've used regularly, what their favorite type of transport is, and what they would like to use in the future. What we don't know is whether they remember what the transport is, what the types of transports are. So let's do a quick activity to remind them, and so that they're very confident when they talk to the people, and they associate the word the person says and the image. So just as before, we make text blocks and put the types of transport in the text blocks. And to make our students even more participatory, we ask them to make drawings of these type of transport. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be theirs. It makes everything more meaningful. So now we have them draw their types of transport, they have the words, they verbalized them, we make sure that they know the association. We give each pair of students has one set. And just as in the secondary lesson, they put, let's say, 5 in a line. They verbalize them, they describe the image, one of them turns around, the other one takes one of them away. The first student turns back around, says the words that are there, describes the transport that's there, and then tries to remember what's missing. And if you remember that it was the helicopter that was missing, you were paying attention. So that's all you have to do. However, the students have been working collaboratively. They've made the learning visible. They've associated an image with a term, which always doubles the learning. They've used sophisticated memorization skills. And they've not only participated, but they've helped create an activity. And so the learning will be much more longer lasting. And yes, you spent more time on this than you would have if you had just sent them out during the survey. However, the investment of time is very important. So all you super teachers out there, thank you so much for joining. I look forward to hearing any comments you have and to seeing you next time. Have fun in your classes. Bye.